And we are live! Welcome everyone, this is your host Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. First of all, this channel is proudly sponsored by Dead Tree Studios, the publishers and developers of Dames of Asstoria, a tabletop role-playing game where you play as monster girls experiencing high adventure in a world that doesn't fully accept them. They have recently released Daughters of Lamb. This is a pay-what-you-want tabletop RPG, where you get to play as cybernetic nuns with guns, looking for the missing pieces of their AI god. You will find it in their website, the link will be in the description and in the pinned comment. This channel is also proudly sponsored by the Red Room Publishing. Please check out their store for exclusive tabletop RPG products, and check out their newest release, Final Frontier. This is a streamlined sci-fi tabletop RPG where you get to explore space for justice, for profit, for both. You will find it in their website. The link will be in the description and in the pinned comment as well. Today I am continuing my review series featuring the Dread Thingonomicon. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review series, featuring this huge gallery of trappings for your fantasy tabletop RPGs, and it's also quite solo friendly because you have so many tables to randomly generate all sorts of elements, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about items most wondrous. You actually have two sections of these items. Let's start with the more, I would say, section that is less focused on customization and more on the discovery of such items. You have the wondrous attire section covering boots, belts, robes, cloaks, and similar items. Perhaps you find a heavy, flowing but hoodless cloak. It comprises a bizarre mix of brown fur and mottled tawny brown and white feathers. The cloak is crafted from an owlbear's of hide. You have the wondrous rings section, and you have some very cool illustrations here and there. Let me show you the ring. Looks pretty nice, right? Many rings are a staple of fantasy gaming, of course. Perhaps you encounter a ring crafted from bronze. It looks plain, but it has strange runes of obvious magical origin inscribed all over its band. The ring is old and tarnished with age, however. You also have the wondrous rods and staves and wands section, with results such as this black iron wand has 3 tines in a similar fashion to a trident, a different color gem, a yellow citrine, a black onyx, and an orange carnelian perch at the end of each tine. You also have the wondrous swords section, with results such as this plain and unadorned sword has a simple bone handle, leather strips and beautifully many-colored feathers festoon the sword's plain wooden scabbard. You also have a table for the scabbard of your magical sword. Maybe it comprises a delicate mesh-like chain over a thin inner layer of black leather. This scabbard is surprisingly quiet. Weird. Maybe you drop it and it makes no noise. You also have a wondrous weapons section, with results such as this beautifully polished bolt case holds 5 heavy steel crossbow bolts, sized for a heavy crossbow. Twice as heavy as a normal bolt, these missiles have ornamental sigils depicting bolts of fire, jagged lightning bolts, and the like carved into their shafts. Now, when it comes to the items most wondrous section 2, this has a lot to do with the nuances, the details, the characteristics of various wondrous items. So for example, quirks for a wondrous weapon. Perhaps the weapon is quasi-sentient and has a semblance of feelings. Occasionally, in situations of high stress, These feelings leak from the weapon and spill over everyone within 10 feet. Only a detailed magical examination of the weapon reveals the source of these feelings. You also have the minor wondrous item boons table, with results such as: the item can create a tiny flame for 1 minute a day. This illumination is less than that of a candle, but it can be used to light fires, ignite dropped oil, and so on. You also have the minor wondrous item drawbacks table, with results like: the owner's finger and toenails grow at a prodigious rate, necessitating their trimming on an almost daily basis. You also have other tables covering wondrous daggers, wondrous keys. Maybe you find a key that is of brass. It is shiny and new, and it has practically no signs of use upon its teeth, but someone has scratched TC1 into its bow. You also have tables covering wondrous longswords, wondrous maces, wondrous scroll cases. Maybe you find a case of bleached bone. This long scroll case was once the leg bone of some tall creature, stoppered at one end with a bone plug, and a leather cap fits over the other end. You also have tables for wondrous rings, wondrous tapes, wondrous unholy symbols. Perhaps this oversized symbol has a notch at its base. A weapon's heft can be inserted, which transforms the symbol into a jaggedly vicious mace or morning star. You even have a wondrous wand table. Maybe you find a wand that is made of iron. At one end, the four strands of this wand come together to create a basket of sorts, which contains a lump of mottled gray granite. And this concludes this part of the review series. In the next part, we are going to talk about the Kobold Warren. I think this wondrous items pair of sections is one of the most useful segments of the book. As a solo player, you always want to determine the items that you find inside of chests, hidden within the crypts, at the top of the mystic towers. But when you play the game with your friends, when you're running the game as a dungeon master or game master, they do the craziest things, and now you can randomly determine all of the items that they will find when they are searching the nooks and crannies of many adventure sites. Or if you want to prepare things beforehand, of course, these tables facilitate the population of the dungeon containers with all sorts of objects of mystifying natures. Thank you for watching this part of the review series. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, consider joining as a member using the Super Thanks button. Take a look at the information in the description and in the pinned comment. This has been your host, Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you and see you later.